Hey, good morning, Daily Dosers. My name's Austin Payne, and I'm one of the high school pastors on the Vista campus. And today we're diving into the Daily Dose in James chapter 1. And I have this love-hate relationship with the book of James because I feel like it's a little bit like working on my car, where commuting to and from work or going to run an errand, I'll hear that ticking noise, and I can do one of two things. One, I can take the time to figure out and diagnose and maybe pop the hood, or two, I can just kind of turn the stereo up a little bit and ignore it for a little bit longer, which is what I tend to do more often than not. And James, for me, has always been kind of like popping the hood and diagnosing some of the areas where I need some tweaks and some changes in my life. And it just feels like the most practical, kick in the behind for me spiritually, just to go, hey, here's some really simple, practical tools for your life to produce more faithfulness and more righteousness, and to really work on your relationship with Jesus. And James 1:19 has always been one of those verses for me that, man, since I can remember first reading this as a junior high or a freshman or sophomore in high school. But much like work on my car, it continues to pop up and continues to need maintenance. And I just want to read this today as an encouragement, hopefully, for us. And it says, James 1:19, "My dear brothers and sisters," you can almost hear the care in his voice as he says this. "Take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires." And he gives us really simple, practical steps. And he says we should be, 1, quicker to listen, 2, slower to speak, and 3, slow to become angry. And I love that he doesn't say that this is for extroverts or this is for people that like to talk. He says, no, everyone, all of us can work on this. And I think the reason he says everyone is because of the very next verse. In verse 20, he says, human anger does not produce the righteousness of God. And I think back to 2 Corinthians chapter 5, where it says, God made him who knew no sin to be sin for us so that we might become the righteousness of God. That we actually are becoming the righteousness of God, this new creation, through the person of Jesus. That with a relationship with him, it's creating space in our life where we're becoming less of us, less of the flesh, as Scripture calls it, and we're becoming more and more and more like Jesus as we walk throughout this Christian life. And I think what James is getting at here, and what's so challenging for me, is that as we listen more and speak less and get frustrated less and angry less, we create more space. It says that it does not produce the righteousness. I think almost of, a garden in your backyard, or the farmer trying to produce more of a crop. And what do you need to do to produce it? He says, listen more. It would get angry less. Would you speak less? This is how we create more of the righteousness of God inside of us. It has to be fostered and cared for. I'm reading a book right now called Soul Keeping by John Ortberg, and in it he quotes a conversation that he had with Dallas Willard, and kind of this spiritual guru for him a little bit. And in one particular season of his life where he just felt like he was in the hustle and bustle of life, he calls up Dallas and he says, man, I need some counsel, some wise counsel, some advice. Like, can you give me maybe just a nugget from Scripture or something that I need to get me through, to sustain me in this season? And Dallas Willard, like he often did, in kind of this slow listening, because I think he lived out James 1:19 really well. But he says, John, ruthlessly eliminate hurry from your life. And John goes, okay, that's great, but like, what else do you have for me? And Dallas says, that's it. That's all I got for you. Ruthlessly eliminate hurry from your life. And I really think he's getting at this. If we can eliminate hurry from our life, if we can speak less, if we can listen more, if we can remove frustration, we're carving out areas and space and time in our day where we're producing the righteousness of God, saying, Jesus, I need more of you. Would I become more like you today by simply maybe closing my mouth, by getting less frustrated, by practicing eliminating hurry today, listening more, speaking less, becoming less angry, so that I might produce more of Jesus in my life today. And as I produce more of Jesus and I'm walking in obedience, I'm becoming more and more and more righteous. So today, my challenge is maybe not to turn up the stereo of life and just push through, but to turn it down, to pop the hood and go, maybe I need to produce more righteousness today by speaking less, by listening more. That's my challenge for myself today. Thanks, North Coast. We'll see you tomorrow.